us here on the radio program, making his Rob Brown Show debut, a place where you are going to be many times over the next year, and I apologize for that, Coach. The new head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, Chad Costello, joins us here on the program. What's up, big fella? How we feeling?
Great. It's good to be here, and you said it. I'll be here hopefully many times again, and love the energy.
We'd like to have you here. We'd like for you to, at some point, bring a big old trophy to sit it over in the corner for an interview. So, let's start working towards that. Day one on the job. How do we start working towards that, man?
Yeah, we got to get the roster dialed in and get the players as excited as we all are from, the move to Greenville here. So we have a lot of work to do, no doubt, but the trophy's on its way. I truly feel that way. We just have to take care of business to get there, So super excited to be here, like I said, and like you said, that's the final goal is the trophy, and we'll good little spot for it down there.
Oh, dude, we're going to set the whole thing up. We'll hang banners. I need you all to know that was Babe Ruth calling the shot, all right? We're getting a trophy at some point. It's on the books now. Chad, let's talk a little bit about who you are, where you come from. You've been in the coaching game for a while. You spent a lot of time playing in the game as well. Introduce your folks to the folks of Greenville, the folks who are maybe just kind of starting to catch up with the Swamp Rabbits or maybe haven't gotten the opportunity to hear from you with your media presser yesterday and all that. Take a couple of minutes to kind of introduce, tell your story to the folks of Greenville that we are going to use to fill the well next season.
Sure. Yeah. I guess I'll start as a player. We won, we were in Allen there. We won the 4 straight championships. I was a part of the last 2 in the ECHL, a few MVPs and a lot of good stories, that's for sure, back in the old days. So I kind of transitioned from coach to player. With a little stint in Germany in between, and I think it was 15-year pro career with 4 kids and a wife, all during that. So I went to college at Northeastern before that for 2 years. So yeah, it was a great playing career. I enjoyed every second of it, and I went right into coaching after my last year. I kind of knew I was done. I was battling some injuries, so our coach didn't re-sign with the team, and a week later after retiring, they asked if I wanted to be head coach and GM, and of course I said yes. And at the time, our owner, he wanted to sell the team, so he said he's got good news. He wants me to be the head coach and GM, and the bad news is I'm going to be the only one on the staff. So it was a blessing in disguise, though, because year one I had high expectations, but I don't know if anybody else did. So getting thrusted into all those roles as GM, head coach, assistant coach, video coach, power play, penalty,
bouncer, security,
popcorn, the whole deal. So it was. I wore a lot of hats, but getting thrown into the fire like that is probably the best way to learn as much as you can. So, and then we won the first round of playoffs my first year. We went from last to finish the division in second. The next year we lost first round to Boise. They had that team that set the records for most wins and all that. So we spent a lot of time in the Mountain Division and obviously I knew about, South Carolina and Greenville and all these teams out here. I knew it was a strong division. So, and then we get to last year. Last year, I signed with Spire, and obviously they own Greenville and Trois, so they just won the championship. And then Rapid City, and their coach was going through some health problems, so they asked me to take over the team. It was an interesting job. They were 4-16 at the time, so we went there and did some magical things. I think we finished 30, 31, and 32, which is a pretty nice little turnaround. And then this job opened up, and Spire filled the role with me. And like you said, day one, pretty fun.
Talk to me a little bit about the personal side of this. Got an opportunity to shake hands with your wife yesterday. She's lovely. You mentioned you have 4 kids. There's this interesting aspect to coaching, whether you're a player's coach, whether you're a discipline coach, a fundamentals coach, an organization coach, whatever philosophy you bring into it. You do have to be a hard worker. That is the one thing that is universal across all of those philosophies. In order to do that, I think you got to have a supportive family. You're not going to find a lot of coaches that are like, yeah, my wife hates that I do this job. So talk to me a little bit about the personal background, the family makeup, and how that all kind of fits into taking over for a team that, I think it would be honest to say we were all a little disappointed by the results last year and want to see that turnaround. So that's a big ask, especially for somebody who's got a family. Talk about kind of how that whole piece revolves around you.
Yeah, I think, I was blessed with an amazing wife, like you said, and she's probably more competitive than I am sometimes. It's crazy. She's, keeps me honest and wants me to go after it. And reminds me of what I have as goals, and she does a great job. And we have great children. We have 4 children, 2 girls, 2 boys. And the boys are in hockey, and I swear she reminds me that I early in my career, I was a pretty good player, had points and the numbers and stuff like that. But then I had my first son, and it was it really changed my game. It really did. It just knowing that he's watching me every game, how I act, how I lead, who I am as a player, who I treat people in the community, all that stuff. It really changed a lot about, as children do. So that's really when I started caring about who I was as a leader and stuff like that. And it was kind of right around the time I became captain for the first time. And, as far as philosophy goes, are you a player's coach? Are you a discipline coach? Are you, whatever that time needs, that's what I'll be. So it's moldable. As long as you believe in what you're doing, other people will follow. So they're either on board or they're in the way. So, and we'll find out exactly which one they want to be here soon.
Chad Costello, new head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, making his Rob Brown Show debut this morning. Let's talk a little bit about that. What did you know about this team when you were offered the job, when you decided to accept the job? What did you know about players? What did you know about culture? What did you know about staff? What did you know about Greenville, South Carolina? What did you have in hand that made you, A, say, this is a good job for me to take, and that you knew was going to be a working process when you got here?
Yeah, the first thing I knew is I knew that they're, you look at the roster, that the affiliation is strong. It seems like they're very hands-on, LA and Ontario. So I knew that was something that I haven't had before, and I always complained about. So I always looked for an opportunity where, you are seeing a lot of movement from players up above, and they are watching what we're doing down here and very hands-on. So that was something that really intrigued me. Obviously, the ownership with Spire, that was huge. I think, like I said before, they walked that line of being a super powerful ownership in our league, as well as being great people to work with. So those things were awesome and really intriguing to me. And obviously, just the hearsay of how good and nice the town is and the community is involved with the team, and they're spot on. Everything I've heard has been correct. So I also noticed that the team, in my opinion, had a lot of talent last year. And I'm not going to speak about too much about last year, but possibly a little bit of lack of character. And to me, that is something that I can fix.
Talk to me a little bit about that, because I think hockey is, and this is from a kid who, the only ice I grew up around was in a margarita on the beach. But as I've been around the Rabbits and some of the other teams I've worked for in my career, hockey does have this very unique culture in and of itself. And more importantly, every individual team has its own culture. We were talking earlier in the show about the Florida Panthers. I mean, you may hate the culture they have on the ice, but it's brought them to back-to-back Stanley Cups now. Building that culture is important. What's your process for establishing that culture, especially when you're going to have guys that have been here for a couple of years, you're going to have some new guys that are maybe just getting into the pro levels, et cetera, A, and B, what is that culture for Chad Costello?
Yeah, sure. I'd be naive not to say that, first off, you have the right personnel. You have to have the guys that are willing to buy in. Once you find the right personnel and you're comfortable with that, then it's time to dig in. And by dig in as a coach, I mean, you got to get to know them. You got to get to know what they want to do with their careers, what they want to do with their lives. Make sure they know that that's important to you, their personal goals as far as the season, and then turn those into goals as a team. What do they actually want to do here? And once you know what they want to do, and they see how important that is to you, all of a sudden, winning hockey games for you is important to them. I get to know them and their family. They get to know my family. I refuse to have a locker room where, the kids aren't buzzing around after a win. And just a family atmosphere, in my opinion, is how we won championships in the past. And you said, the Florida Panthers, you said that, you may hate their culture or this or this or this. Well, that's because you may not be a part of it. But I promise you, if you're on Florida, you love it. And usually, you think of, baseball. Everyone hates or loves the Yankees. Or
hate, by the way, in case anybody was curious.
Hey, but and then you join one of those winning teams, and you're like, I had it wrong. I knew it. I love this culture, and it's a high standard, but a little bit of pressure. But we've said it before. That's what makes the game fun.
Chad Costello, new head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Talk to me a little bit about the coaching style as far as what we'll see on the ice. Do you keep it, hey, we want to be forecheck, we want to be very offensive, we want to be super physical on defense? Is it kind of a balanced blend? What will this team look like on the ice, puck drop the goal, when they take their debut under you?
Sure. Yeah, it's funny that you brought up Florida because in our Allen days when we were winning the championships, it was almost like you couldn't beat us. You know, you may beat us once, no doubt about it, but a 7-game series in the playoffs, we're going to figure it out. Do you want to play rough? Do you want to play run and gun? Do you want to play a defensive style? Do you really want to take a penalty against us with a power play that's as potent as what we'll have? Just up for any task, I would say, because with video and all the tools these coaches have, they're going to find a way to try to beat you. It's just being able to manage anyone's game plan at any time. Especially, the regular season is a little different because you see different opponents all the time. But for the most part in our league, you were going to play the in-division teams a lot. So by the time you get to the third or fourth game against that division or that team in your division, you have them pretty well figured out. Yeah, I would say we're a team that's up for anything. But, yeah, we like to play fast. We like to play confident and make our plays, team first decisions all the time. And we like to, we never like to turn down a fight, and especially at home.
That's the line I was waiting for. Never want to turn down a fight. No, I think it again. Like I look at these two teams in Florida, Edmonton. We were talking about on the way up. It was a damn near WWE pay-per-view last night, right? I think Edmonton ended up with 21 penalties and 85 penalty minutes served last night. But my breakdown on this show this morning was that's because Edmonton lost their mind and tried to beat Florida at being Florida, right? They tried to be a better Florida man than the guys who live in Florida. And that's a recipe for disaster. That tells me that Edmonton just was not locked into who they are, how they want to play the game, how they want to respond to Florida. If you sense that a team, and I'm not saying this will be something you have to deal with, but you're a head coach, so it will be something you have to deal with. If you feel like a team is maybe getting away from their chemistry and their identity a little bit and starting to try to play the other team's game or just play a game that's not theirs, how do you handle that from the bench?
Yeah, it's good that you notice that. That's not the style that Edmonton wants to play, and they'll admit that. But maybe it's the style they wanted to play right then. It's 5-1. That game's over. Maybe they want to. Maybe that'll lead to some a little bit of fun, a little energy. Maybe that will bring the boys together. In Rapid, we had a couple goalie fights. We had a player fight the goalie in the first shift of a midnight game. I mean, some of the stuff that you see that brings guys together. It's it's fun for the fans, but it's fun for the players too. So Edmonton's so well coached, and they got a good staff that they'll hit reset and say, "Hey guys, we understand it's a 5-1 game. We get what you're doing, but let's get back to our game plan. Drop a puck in the next game, total reset. They'll be ready to rock."
Chad Costello, new head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate for a handful more minutes before he continues the media car wash all around town today. I think that I've been around this team for 4 years running now. I've served in some different roles. I'm the in-arena MC now, so I am on the glass every game. And one of the things that stood out to me about this team last year was it almost felt like they would hit some spots where puck doesn't come off the boards their way, or there's an early goal or whatever. And it almost felt like the energy left the building, like it was deflated. And I mean, the fans are going to respond to what's happening on the ice, but the guys on the ice are going to respond to what happens from the fans. There were spots where it just kind of felt like the team ran out of juice, like they did not have that. How do you, as a head coach, if you come out and Brad Marchand puts one up 56 seconds on the clock and it's like, oh crap, here we go again. What is your process for getting the boys back on the bench, slapping in the back of the helmet and saying, hey, like, let's get right, let's figure this out? Because that can be a tough thing to do, especially if you got, as you will in a hockey team, a bunch of guys from different countries and different backgrounds who maybe grew up playing different elements and styles of the game. How do you get everybody back on the same page? Because that is kind of what last season was, right? Like, I assume the boys in the locker room are saying that wasn't what we wanted to do or what we signed up to do. How do you, as a head coach, whether it's last season into this season or in a game when you give up a quick one or the puck bounces away you didn't expect it to and they take advantage of it or whatever, how do you get in their heads and say, forget all that, be a goldfish, let's move on to the next one?
Yeah, first of all, the 4 years, we appreciate everything you do for the team. It's awesome.
They pay me to show up and watch hockey, Coach. Yeah. That's easy to do, bud.
Well, awesome. Thanks for doing it. Yeah, I mean, it just gets down to who you are and who your identity is as a team. If you think that you're going to sign up for a sport and things are just going to go your way, then you shouldn't have signed up. You know, the test of the game, those bad bounces, how do we turn those into good bounces? You know, how do we turn this into a test of who we are as fast as possible? Hopefully you can do it in game. You know, sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it takes a week. Sometimes it takes, hopefully not a month, but sometimes it takes some time to realize that we're being challenged. I don't know by what. It could be the team. It could be the bounces, the refs sometimes. So the travel, we will be challenged. It's what an opportunity to show exactly who we are as a team.
All right, I got to ask you an off-the-wall question here. Our afternoon show host, Cole Bryson, and I have been in this fight for a while. I have said that in sport, the concept of luck is an excuse for people who are unprepared to utilize so that they don't have to acknowledge I was unprepared. I've said that for a very long time. Cole Bryson's on the other side of the argument. He's like, hey, luck's a thing. You put the puck into the board. Sometimes it's going to go this way. Sometimes it's going to go that way. Is luck a real thing in sports, or am I right? And it's just something that underprepared people use as an excuse when they fail. You can be honest here. You won't hurt my feelings if you think I'm wrong.
Geez, Luis. I mean, you look. I mean, look at the players that seem to light it up every single season. You know, are they just the luckiest people on earth, or did they prepare to get lucky? You know, and you got to prepare for bad luck too. I mean, like I said. I mean, can you win when things don't go your way? You know, look at like the Crosbys and Ovechkins. I mean, there's no way that they're just the luckiest guys on earth. There's got to be something to it. Now, figuring that out, if you can figure that out, I'm sure you'll be a rich man. I have not, but I'll keep working on it.
Love it. Also, that's the best way I've ever heard somebody not take a side in my life. That's fantastic. So when the coaching career is up, politics is right down the road, awesome. Coach. Chad Costello, head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, joining us for a few minutes here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Have you gotten the opportunity to interact with any of the fellas? I know they're kind of on break right now. We're working our way towards getting everybody back to get on the ice and start putting some practice time down. But have you gotten a chance to meet some of the boys, have some of the intro conversations? Are they excited about having you here? Who are some of the guys that you've gotten a chance to speak out that you're excited about coaching next year?
Yeah, I won't use names now. We'll get there. Just it's a weird time for our league. We can't sign guys till the 24th. So once we start rocking and signing players, we'll just start knocking them out, and I'll come back on here and tell you all about them. Some of them you're going to know, and we'll have some familiar faces, but we also need some new blood too. So and some guys I'm familiar with. I think the mix of people that are familiar with me and people that are familiar with Greenville, that's kind of the roster that we're going for now. I have met with two players yesterday, great guys. They live here. They call this place home. So it was great to see two guys that really care about Greenville and the success that our team has. Now, over the phone, I've talked to at least 12 or 15 players, and there's still some to go. A lot of it is agent first, and then you get the green light, then you talk to the player. So we're walking that process as quickly as possible. There's no rhyme or reason to it now. We got, I think we had 30 players, a little more on our protected list. We'll talk to all 30 and see exactly how they're doing and what they're thinking, and then make our decisions how we're going to use them to win hockey games.
The obvious answer to this next question is damn good hockey player. But aside from that, what are you looking for when you're deciding this guy makes the cut, doesn't make the cut, give him a shot in training camp? He's definitely going to be putting the C on the chest. Like, what are you looking for in a hockey player to say that guy's a Swamp Rabbit for me?
Yeah, who you are as a person, how you carry yourself. Does the jersey matter to you? Everyone always says, "Oh, this the name on the front, not the name on the back." Well, no, it's both. You gotta care about what people see when they read your last name. In the community, it's super important to our staff that the players are good in the community. But I do like a talented hockey player, I'll be honest with you. So, but we need a mix. We need guys that want to get, don't want to get scored on, and we need guys that want to score. So, and obviously good goaltending is huge, as you know. So, we'll look at everything there is to look at and make our decisions, and we'll hit on some and miss on some, and we'll try to figure it out as quickly as possible.
All right. Speaking of damn good hockey players, Buddy of the show, Mark Benetti's in the building. Benetti, I need you right over there sharing that mic with Coach, because when we were doing the presser yesterday and we were wrapping up, I was talking with Benetti a little bit about you before I got the chance to shake your hand, and Benner shared a story with me that I was like, yeah, no, I'm putting you on the radio to tell that story to Coach's face tomorrow. Grab that mic and tell me, FCC compliant, Mark Benetti. Tell me the story you told me yesterday.
It's not a story. It's just it's a recall of a time long gone by for me. I was with the Rapid City Rush for 8 years, and my second, third, and fourth seasons, I got to watch Chad lace up for the Allen Americans. We played Allen anywhere from 10 to 15 times a year. And regardless of if the Rush beat the Americans or not, this guy would almost always have 3 or 4 points a night. It was not even close. Absolutely insane. And we had a heck of a playoff battle there in 15 when you won your championship. We were in round 2, went to 6 games. But it was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, you kind of step back, and it wasn't just him too. I mean, that first year they won the title, he put up 125 points in the regular season, somehow wasn't most valuable player. That's an argument for another time, but it was Gregor Hansen, Gary Steffes, Riley Gill in net, Conrad Abelshauser, Aaron Jens, all these guys that even Jack Holmes too when he was still there. I mean, those teams were just loaded.
I think my favorite part of that was the fact that yesterday you said this dude was, and I'll paraphrase, cracking skulls. So, like, I appreciate, Coach, I had a kid and the attitude shifted, and I totally believe you, but there's a little bit of that dog in there, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
There's a little bit of that dog in there.
Oh, yeah.
Chad Costello, new head coach of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, making his Rob Brown Show debut. Coach, my man, great to have you. Thanks for coming by. Wish you the best. We'll talk again before the season starts. More importantly, we'll talk after the season ends, and we put a piece of hardware in the corner for some good pictures in front of the logo over there.
Absolutely. We'll take a little shot out of it and get rocking.
That's my guy right there. Chad Costello, head coach of the Swamp Rabbits.